Are you here? Did it work? Is he here? You got to turn. Okay. Jimmy, turn your video on. Oh, you're here. And then unmute yourself.
I am unmuted. I'm on.
You're on. You're here.
I'm here. I'm on.
Hallelujah.
I'm on with beautiful Robin.
I'm on with the beautiful Jimmy. Like, are you joking me? You guys, this is Jimmy Smith, the amazing Jimmy Smith. He is incredible. He has been with Isagenix. Oh my gosh, it's 19 years? 18
19 years.
Yeah, 19 years.
May 2002, I joined.
Yes. So, all right. Can we tell a little bit of your background, your story? He's helped thousands, millions of lives. He's 93 years young. Okay, I just told you age, but literally is like so young at heart and helping people. And he doesn't need to be doing this anymore. He's a former butcher. He was a butcher. I mean, I want you to tell your story. Butcher for 40 years. Some of you know that. And now has, accumulatively earned multiple seven figures helping people with their health and their finances, and really doesn't have to be doing this, but he is so inspired to help more people get inspired and cast a vision for what is really possible for other people to live their life by design. So I have a lot of questions that I want to ask you, and we'll just get started because this is all about Jimmy. I mean, this is it. This is all about you.
Really, Robin, it's all about everybody else but Jimmy. And the reason I say that is Jimmy has one purpose in life at 93, to inspire and encourage other people to get out of the box they're trapped in and think big, think out of the box, and know that there's a way out. There's a way for them to be healthy, to live longer and be healthy while you live longer. And at the same time, to be very, very wealthy while you live longer. Because what do you think at age 93 is more important to me? My money or my health?
Amen.
Of course, my health.
Mm-hmm.
We all look the same in intensive care with the tubes running in and the tubes running out. It doesn't make any difference if you're an ambassador or a janitor. You look and feel the same. So I will make a statement right now. I would not be the Jimmy Smith I am today at 93 if I weren't on these wonderful, wonderful products for the last 19 years. Very important.
Very important. So we will.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here to inspire people through you.
And you
Inspire
you have, for myself. So let's just start. Isagenix is amazing. We are going to talk about the art of well-being and helping cast a vision for what is possible for you and your family. But Isagenix is 19 years young and built on integrity. And so our products don't work if you don't use them. The compensation plan doesn't work if you don't work it and help people. So you do hear people that have had amazing health transformations. I mean, even Jimmy at 93 years young, literally is like 45. I mean, legit, because he's been using the products and then also has made a lot of income, right? But because of helping people. And so I just wanted to get that out there too. Jim and Kathy Coover, amazing. We'll talk a little bit about them. But so tell the history. So you growing up and how many kids you have, and you were a butcher.
So as a young man, my mother wanted me to go to college. My father was a butcher. His father was a butcher. And my father said to me, son, come down the butcher shop. Let me teach you how to be a butcher, cut meat, not a butcher. We didn't butcher cows. We cut them up. They were all dressed when we got them. We just cut them up in small pieces. But let me teach you to be a butcher. He said, you'll always have a job. I worked during the last Depression. I said, really? So I'm 16. I trust my dad emphatically. I love him. He's my idol. So I went down the butcher shop. Now, I'm 5'6", 120 pounds. That's not big enough to be a butcher. I was too small to be a butcher, but nobody told me. And I stayed in that job for 40 years. And he said to me, my mom wanted me to go to college. He said, you don't need to go to college. He said, so I'm thinking, well, I'll work, I'll get paid, I'll save my money, I'll get a nice convertible, and then I'll have some girlfriends, at 16, So I did that. I worked hard for my dad. And at 21, I had a nice brand new Mercury convertible in 1949. And it served me well. But so he said, you always make a living. He said, you always have to make a living. I said, well, great. He was right. I never missed a paycheck. I got a paycheck for 40 years every week, except the 2 years I was drafted into the U.S. Army for the Korean War. I was in the Army for 2 years. Wonderful 2 years. I enjoyed it. And then I came right back to the butcher shop. So at age 56, because I was too small for the job, I hurt my back for the umpteenth. And I needed an operation, which I wouldn't let them perform. So my company gave me full pension. When Ronald Reagan was taking blind people off Social Security, my company gave me full pension. They said, Jimmy, you served us well for 40 years. Go find a new career. Well, at 56, with only a high school education, there's not much out there. So I start looking. Looking. At age 62, 6 years later, I stumbled on to network marketing accidentally. A friend called me up and said, Jimmy, I want to take you a meeting. I said, what kind of meeting? He says, opportunity. I said, for what? He said, just come with me. And I went.
And you're like, okay, say yes, figure it out later.
Yeah. He said, I want you to check this company out and see what you think of it. So the thing that changed my life, he gave me a video called the Don Failure Napkin Presentation.
Okay.
I don't know if you're ever familiar with Don Failure. On that video, he stood in front of the room and he did the geometric progression of numbers. And in regards to network marketing, he said, if you sponsor 2 people, work with those 2 people and they sponsor 2, you got 2 on your first level, and they're 2, you got 4 on your second level. And if they get 2, you got 8 on the third level. He said, now, if you could sponsor 3 people on your first level, teach them to sponsor 3 people, you have 9 on the second, 27 on the third. And then he said, but if you could get 5 people and work with them, help them get 5, now you got 5 in your first level, 25 in the second. They get 5, you got 125 in your third. Mm-hmm. I said, wow. So now you got 155 people. So not knowing anything about network marketing, I wonder to myself, why did he stop at 3 levels? Why didn't he go further? Because the numbers, as you know, get greater and greater and greater. So the reason they didn't in them days, that's not 1988. Back then, there was no computers. The industry didn't have computers, so they had to track everything by hand. So companies only paid, all the old companies, breakaway companies, they only paid 3 levels deep, and they paid monthly, and there was no ordership, and you just were calling people up all the time. Are you going to order product this month so I can get a check? It gave the industry kind of a bad connotation because people were always calling you up trying to get you to buy product. Well, when computers came into play years later, and they were able to do ordership, in 1989, I looked around for a company with ordership. There was only 3 companies in 1989 with some kind of ordership: Melaleuca, Nutrition for Life, and a little company called Voxa. And I joined that little company called Voxa. I got up to $5,000 a month. And then they made some changes, my values and principles. I moved on. I got into another company had a balanced binary. I got up to $5,000 a week. And then at age 74, I walked away from that company to start all over again at 74 in isogenics.
And 74. Like, how 74. Are you even, like, this is crazy. Wow. It's
crazy. It is crazy. So at age 74, from age 74 to 93, a few $1 million. Let's put it that way.
A few $1 million.
Enough to take care of my whole family.
Yeah. It's amazing. And you're just so full of life and energy still all the time. Like, I don't care. Like, someone said they saw, we did our thing the other day on Sunday interview too. And he was like, it was nice for some of my older friends that we like hear from him. And I'm like, I like to hear from him. Like, my age people need to hear from him. Like, what are you talking about? Like, look at his glowing skin and the resilience and his wisdom it makes so much sense. Right. And so, okay, Jimmy, so now, for people that are, just getting introduced to isogenics, there's some new people on here. Why Isogenics, out of all these companies, how many other companies, you said you tried a few, but why Isogenics?
Well, that's a really, really good question. Now, somebody said to me one time, Jimmy, how many companies have you done? And I said, how much time do you have? It would probably take me 2 weeks to go through all my companies, and I'm not going to do that. But I did a lot of companies: Amway, Shackley, Herbalife, New Skin, Melaleuca, Nutrition for Life, Boxen, ACN, Usana. I did a lot of different companies. So, and people used to say to me, what are you now, Jim? What do you do now, Jim? They thought, they used to call me a multi-level junkie. And people used to laugh at me. People used to laugh at me because they thought I was on a wild goose chase. They didn't know what I was doing. I was researching the industry, and at the same time, I was teaching myself the industry. So, people say to me, when I told people I was going to walk away from 5,000 a week at age 74, and they said, what? Are you crazy? What are you smoking, Jimmy? What are you doing? And then when I told them why I was what I wanted to make, Jimmy, you're not satisfied with 5,000 a week? No, I want to make 5 times that. What? You want to make what? I want to make 5 times that. And they thought I was really crazy. But guess what? I did it. And you know why I did it? Because I understood the numbers. And the basis of all knowledge is mathematics. Once you understand the numbers as clearly as I do, it's a done deal. It's over. And I'll do something theoretical. It has nothing to do with our company, or it does nothing to do with, it's just numbers, okay? So I don't want anybody to get carried away. It's just numbers. Okay. So if you sponsored 5 people and they sponsored 5 people, you'd have 25 in your second. If they sponsored 5, you'd have 25 in the third. If they sponsored 3,105 in the fourth, they sponsored 5 at 15,625. They sponsored 5, you have 78,125. So 78,000 people times 100 BV, it's 7,800,000. So if you were able to get 6%, 97, it would be 97,000 people times, say 100 BV, it'd be $9,700,000. Would be a lot of BV, right? 6% of 9 million would be 540,000. And that's a lot of money. And that's a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world. So suppose you fail 90% of the time. Poor baby, you don't even make 54,000 a month, which is 500.
That's amazing.
So that when I found out the mathematics, I just went through some mathematics. When you understand the mathematics, when you understand the duplication concept, which is what our business is all about, it's about, it's about duplicating, it's about sponsoring people, it's about teaching people, but when you understand how math works, when you understand the geometric progression of numbers, it becomes crystal clear what you have to do. You have to find the right people, and you might have to talk to 20, 30, 40, 50 people to get one right person. And it's okay. And in our business, most of the people are going to be customers.
So true. So can you talk about how
everybody's not going to do the business? No. So you have 20 customers and 1 business below.
Am I frozen or?
Pardon? Okay.
Oops, I thought it was.
Customers don't build. Business builders build you. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Okay, I didn't know if I was breaking up. No, totally. And you know what? It brings me up to thinking about how, it can take just one person and just maybe one on the left and one on the right or whatever, how our compensation plan works, right? But you used to think way back, I know we were talking earlier today, and how you couldn't do this. Why? Well, what would you tell someone that really feels like they've been trying
what I said was earlier, when I was a butcher, working as a butcher for 40 years, there's no way I could do what I did in Isogenics. And the only reason I could do what I did is because I got out of the box. I stopped thinking, I got out of the box. I was trapped in a box. For 1,500 years, we thought the world was flat And then Christopher Columbus sailed across the ocean. He proved the world is round. We know now from pictures from outer space, the world is a big ball. We're on a big ball. It's rotating on its axis 1,000 miles an hour. So what did people live for 1,500 years? They lived a myth. That was a myth. For 40 years, I worked as a butcher thinking that was the only way I could make a living. What did I live for 40 years? I lived a myth. I lived a myth. There's a lot of people out there that are living a myth. They think the only way they can make a living is to work at JOB. There's nothing wrong with working at JOB. I did it for 40 years. I raised my family. It paid my bills.
Okay, so that leads me to, how much did you make over the 40 years as a butcher compared to what you're making now? And what has it really done for your family? Like, what has it given to your family? Like,
over 40 years, I earned $400,000. That comes out to $10,000 a year. Of course, I started out in 1945 at like 45 cents an hour. That wasn't a lot of money. So when I left, I was making about $800 a week as a butcher, meat manager. And so that comes out to an average of $10,000 a year. I raised 6 children. I educated them. I paid for their weddings, all that good stuff. And I was just over broke for 40 years. There was not a penny extra. I had not a penny to spare. Every week, all the food was gone, all the money was spent. I got my paycheck and I went out. I spent most of my paycheck on food for 6 children and my wife and I. So, and thank God, because, you know, we taught our children, we gave them roots and wings instead of loot and things, because we couldn't give them loot and things. We had to give them roots and wings, and we did. And
oh, I love that. Write that down. Oh my gosh.
Well, I must say I got them from Dennis Waitley.
Oh my gosh, but that's so good.
And you know, it's all good. Then I discovered network marketing and I fell in love with it. I read the book Think and Go Rich by Napoleon Hill. If anybody hasn't read that book, Think and Go Rich by Napoleon Hill, anybody that's on this Zoom call that hasn't read that book, please get that book and read that book. And every book I read, I look for something very profound. So in the book Think and Go Rich, Napoleon Hill states, through some strange and powerful mystery of mental chemistry, which is never divulged, nature wraps up in the impulse of a strong desire that something that recognizes no such word as impossible, accepts no such reality as failure. If you want something with every fiber in your body, you don't want a half a dozen different things. You want one certain thing. You want it with all your heart and soul, every fiber in your body. Guess what? It will be yours. It must be yours. There's no way it can't be yours. It won't be yours. It will be yours. I guarantee it.
Amen.
No,
yes, I accept.
Napoleon Hill guarantees it. I know.
Yes.
It worked for me. It's worked for thousands and thousands of people. That book has helped more people become millionaires than any other book in the history of the world.
Okay.
Really.
Wow, we need to do that. Team call, work it call. Okay. Oh my gosh, so incredible.
And I read it 10 times and I listened to it probably several hundred times. I listened to it over and over again.
Really? How many? Okay. So can we ask, so what products do you use every day? Because I mean, we all want to stay young like you. What are your favorite products? What does your typical day look like in Isogenics for your grocery store?
Well, if you went in my refrigerator right now, 80% of the products are Isogenics products. You'll see a bottle of Ionic Supreme. You'll see a bottle of Cleanse. You'll see a bottle of Zango. You'll see several boxes of E-Shot, several boxes of Ampnox. And then if you see my vitamins, I take the Daily Essentials. I take the B product. I take the Brain product. I take the C product. I take a lot of products. And I constantly have shakes on hand. I take the shake every day. I'm a product of the product. I love the product. And starting off, I lost 21 pounds and 4 inches off my waist when I first started, and that changed my life.
Oh my gosh, can we just talk about that?
I believe in these products.
When you started, you were telling me they only had the 9-day cleanse. Like they didn't. You
That's
didn't have all these.
They only had the 9-day.
Like we have all these products now.
No.
And you didn't finish.
We had one product, and we were in one country.
Wow.
What?
So- Okay. Am I breaking up? Okay. So no, one product that, or well, the 9-day. And so what would you tell people is their number one product at Isogenics?
Well, in the beginning, we had one product. It was the 9-day.
Uh-huh.
And it worked like a charm if you used it correctly. Even if you cheated, you still lost weight. But you had 2 bottles of cleanse. You had 1 canister of shake. You had a bottle of snack, a jar of snackies, and you had a jar of accelerator caps. So the first 2 days of a 9-day, you would do 4 ounces of cleanse and 8 ounces of water. If you got hungry, you'd eat 4 or 5 snackies, drink a lot of water. They told you to drink at least 8 glasses of water a day. 1 accelerator cap in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. They revved up your engine. No ma wang, no ephedrine, no caffeine, all natural. Now, that was the first 2 days. No food at all, just snackies. Mm-hmm. That's the first 2 days. The next 5 days, you had 2 shakes a day and 1 meal. 2 shakes and 1 meal. Mm-hmm. Snackies, if you got hungry, accelerator cap in the morning, accelerator cap in the afternoon. The last 2 days, day 8 and 9, you went back to the cleanse. 4 ounces of cleanse and 8 ounces of water. Snackies, if you got. Now, if you were able to do that and stick to it, you would lose 7 to 15 pounds. You would. And then you would do another 9-day and lose maybe another 7. So, I mean, my sponsor's husband, Peter, he lost 31 pounds. Mm-hmm. Kim Olson lost 147 pounds. In the beginning, for the first 2.5 years, we only had the 9-day. Mm-hmm. The company did $19 million their first 9 months. They started in March of 2002. They did $38 million their first year, and they did $50 million their second year with just the 9-day. That's remarkable, but it did work. People did lose weight, and the word got out that the product was emotional, it was visual, and it was consumed daily. And then we got the 30-day, and then we got some other products.
Pack, all the
we
things.
Got the Onyx Supreme, and the company kept growing and growing and growing. Mm-hmm. Now, if we can do that with the 9-day, if we can grow from 0 to 50 million in 3 years in 2.5 years with the 9-day, mm-hmm. What do you think you can do with the collagen? I believe in the next 5 years. With the collagen and other stuff that's on the plate that's coming down the road, we will do more business in 5 years than we did the previous 19. That's a bold step you do. Begin it, because boldness has power, magic, and genius within it. Be bold. Be a little bold. I like to be bold once in a while. And the collagen is a game changer because it's so easy to take. You don't have to fast. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to exercise. You don't have to cut back on your intake of food. It's just you take 1 in the morning and then 1 before you go to bed, 1 in the evening. 2 a day. Get 2 people. Don't get 2 people. Get 5 on the right and 5 on the left. Get 10 people. As a matter of fact, I think with the collagen, it would be easy to get 10 on the right and 10 on the left. If you got 10 on the right and 10 on the left and encourage them to do that, 10 on the right and 10 on the left, you would max in 4 levels, you would max out.
Yep.
I mean, executives, 5 on the right and 5 on the left. If you could get 5 on the right and 5 on the left, become executive with just the 9-day, and a lot of people did. A lot of people made executive with just the 9-day, I myself included. But imagine if you can get 5 on the right and 5 on the left with a 9-day, I think you get 10 on the right and 10 on the left for the collagen very, very easily. And that's what I'm starting to teach people: get 10 on the right and 10 on the left, 10 on the right and 10 on the left on the collagen. And you would max out the plan in like 4 levels if you did that.
Absolutely.
That's pretty quick, 4 levels.
And I think, and then earlier, do you remember what you said about the 100 BV?
Well, 100 BV, that's a product. It's a financial product.
He said, that's our number one product. That's the number one product.
Listen, I'm going to make a bold statement here. I like to make bold statements. What keeps us on Earth? Gravity. Mm-hmm. One word, gravity. What holds our body together? One word, collagen. Collagen is the glue that holds our body together.
Mhm.
What holds our business together? Lifestyle rewards. I'm going to make another bold statement. If every single person came into Isogenics, got on order shift the Afterglow bundle for life, stayed on it for life, sponsored 2 other people, became consultant, one on the right, one on the left. If everybody did that and taught their people to do that 3 levels deep, if everybody did that, nobody would fail. It would be impossible to fail. And I always say, if I could get what's in my head and other people said they couldn't do anything else. Do you think I could ever go back and be a butcher for 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute? No. Once your mind expands, it never goes back.
No, right. What would you tell somebody that feels like they're struggling right now in their business if they're watching or, you know?
Well, I would say to them, be sure you're on Kathy Cooper's call tomorrow night because she's going to really be powerful. It's going to be a powerful call. How to build your business from the inside out. It's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And Kathy is, she's amazing. She never stops. She's Energizer Bunny. She keeps going. And never ever seen an owner that works as hard as Kathy does with the field. And it's amazing. You call her up, she calls you back in 2 minutes. You text her, she texts you back immediately. So I don't know how she does it, but she does it.
I know.
And the call is going to be awesome. It's going to be great. I think everybody should be on there if you want to build your business.
How about if someone says that network marketing is saturated?
Well, saturation is a myth. You know, you see, there's cars. There's like 294, I think, 275 to 90 million cars registered in the United States. That's a lot of cars. Why do they keep building 17 million every year, 15, 17 million new cars? Mass saturation is a myth. There's no such thing as saturation. There's between 7 and 8 billion people in the world. I don't really know, probably over 7.5 billion.
Yeah.
We're in 26 countries. You're never going to run out of people. You're never, it only takes, it doesn't. When I had 32,000 people, 32,517 people, I maxed out my first spot. My first reentry, when I had 10,000 people in my reentry, I maxed it out. Somebody says, how many people do you need to max out? I can tell you exactly how many people need to max out to build 2 legs of max out and build 1 leg of max out. You need about 30 or 35,000 people if you're working 2 legs. If you're working a reentry, you need 10,000 people to max out. I know, I did it.
Look, he's just telling the numbers.
I'm a numbers guy.
Okay.
I'm a numbers guy.
Who's
You
maxing
gotta
out?
know the numbers. You gotta know the numbers.
I mean, seriously. What? Yeah, gotta know the numbers. Okay, so yeah, you're in your 90s. What drives you still so much every day? Like,
When you work as hard as I worked for 40 years, and you make as little as I made for 40 years, and then you find network marketing, and then you find a company like Isogenics, which I call the Rolls Royce of network marketing.
Mhm.
It's the #1 company.
Mhm.
And you find that, and you know and you don't share that with other people, that'd be ludicrous. Proverb 3:27. Do not withhold good from those that deserve it when it's in your power to act. Do not withhold good from those that deserve it when it's your power to act. If you have this and you don't share with other people, that's ludicrous. You must share. We're put on this earth for one reason, to help each other. And if we're doing that, we're doing God's will. Now, I'm not a religious guy, but my mother said, Jimmy, if you don't know what to do the right thing.
You are
And
doing
I'm
it.
sticking to it.
You're doing it. We are so blessed to have you tonight. I'm so grateful for you. We are also grateful for you. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story, spreading light and sparkles across the world to give hope and inspiration. We'll do more calls together, and we're going to be back, and we're going to be on Kathy Cooper's call tomorrow night. Comment in the chat if you will see Jimmy.
Absolutely.
Type in the chat if you're going to be on Kathy's call tomorrow night. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. I just want to close with, I hope Jimmy the Butcher never, ever looks down on another human being unless he's bending over to pull that person up.
Yes.
God bless everybody in this call. See you all at the top. Ice the millionaires. Become
Yes.
unstoppable.
God bless you, Jimmy. Thank you so much. Thank you all. All right. Good night. See you soon. Next call.
My
Bye-bye.
pleasure. Night.
Bye-bye.
Baby, good night.
Yes, you too.
Bye. Later.